Hey, everybody, Mike from Profiling Evil. In 1985, two young men disappeared after attending a party. Their families have searched for more than 35 years for the boys. Well, Profiling Evil and Ventures with Purpose has stepped in to see if we can help the family. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be digging around. I hope you'll join us. On June 3rd, 1985, 14-year-old Lloyd Reese of Salt Lake City jumped into a brown Datsun B210, driven and owned by his 21-year-old neighbor, David Yaramillo. Their destination? In East Canyon Reservoir, just 1 hour east of the city. Now, some reports suggest that there was also another friend with them in the vehicle, but I just haven't been able to confirm this. But what we do know is that the two boys were the only ones reported missing. According to Lloyd's sister, their mom and dad were struggling to keep their little family together. They both suffered with severe drug addictions, something that would plague the rest of the family as well. Lloyd had very little oversight in his home or even direction from his parents. He had a brother named Wayne, and the two fought with each other from time to time. Not just like normal brothers fight. Sometimes Wayne would unintentionally even hurt his younger brother. Lloyd had two sisters, but the youngest, 7-year-old Thunder, had him wrapped around her finger. In fact, on that night before leaving for the party, Lloyd ran to the store and purchased a candy bar for Thunder, hugged her, and said goodbye, promising that he would be back. She munched on the candy bar and waved as her idle brother jumped into Yaramillo's B210 and they drove off. He never kept his promise. You know, I asked Thunder if she would share her memories of that day as a 7-year-old. Let's watch what she has to say.
When I was 7 years old, I lost my hero. He was my older brother, and his name was Lloyd. There was times when our parents weren't around due to their addictions, but as long as my brother was there, I knew I was always going to be taken care of. I have so many memories of him, and I wonder if he's proud of me. I miss my brother, and I wish he was still here with me now.
It appears that Lloyd was well known and he had a lot of friends. He loved listening to Ted Nugent, Aerosmith, and AC/DC. You know, he and I actually graduated from the same middle school, Glendale Junior High School. He dreamed of being a doctor. Lloyd must have felt like such a big kid as they pulled out of the Reese driveway at 1700 South, just east of State Street in Salt Lake City. The Reese home was less than a block from South High School, the high school of my youth until I moved in my senior year. I knew the area well, and I must have walked past their home a dozen times, never realizing that it would be meaningful to me some 45 years later. The boys most likely traveled up and through Immigration Canyon. It was the same trail that the pioneers used when they discovered the Salt Lake Valley in 1847. Now, it was all paved roads by then, but the road is windy and can be a little bit tricky, especially near the summit where there are a number of wicked switchbacks. I've driven this route many times in my life, and it's just absolutely beautiful country. In fact, I drove it just a few days ago so that I could vicariously experience the route they must have taken, hoping to view it from a different set of eyes. Maybe the eyes of a 14-year-old kid who was hanging out with a 21-year-old. I've often wondered why David Yaramillo was hanging out with a kid that was half his age. Now, no surviving family members have been able to answer that question, and it still troubles me a little bit. As they made their way to East Canyon, there are two designated campgrounds. One is located at the southern tip, and another at the main boat ramp on the north side. Well, after a great deal of digging, I was able to locate one of the kids who attended the party, and I learned that the group actually met up in a small pullout in the northeast arm of the lake. It was there that witnesses remember Reese and Yaramillo partying with others, drinking, and swimming in the water, which in some places is nearly 80 feet deep. The witnesses never remember if the boys got out of the water, and they always wondered if they possibly could have drowned there. This doesn't seem likely to me because Jaramillo's B-210 Datsun was never located. It, it was like the boys just simply vanished. It would take a few days for Lloyd and David's disappearance to be reported. In fact, a 7-year-old child, Thunder, was the one who finally called police, and they treated her like she was calling in a prank, telling her not to call back until she had an adult with her. Well, Thunder couldn't get an adult because her mother wasn't at home. In fact, Thunder thinks that she may have been in Las Vegas, a place where she disappeared to quite often. Well, let's listen as Thunder describes some of the dynamics with her parents. Things were so dysfunctional at that home that it would take nearly 30 days before Lloyd's parents reported him missing.
Growing up with parents, the struggle from addiction wasn't easy, not only for me, but my siblings as well. There was times that our parents weren't around, and if it wasn't for my siblings taking care of me and my little brother, I don't know if we would have survived. We made it through it though, and we are who we are today because of it.
Well, while the family may have had some challenges, it does seem like the parents were trying. I say this because Lloyd is described as being healthy, a healthy young man. He even had braces on both his top and bottom teeth. Now, to me, the expense of braces says something about his parents who were trying to care for their children, even though it appears that they were battling their own personal addictions. Well, some 36 years later now, Lloyd and David's family members continue to pray for answers. The Jaramillos have had David declared deceased for many years. Thunder and her family don't have a grave to visit. And Lloyd hasn't been officially declared dead. Well, we at Profiling Evil plan on covering the cost to get that done, and we would welcome your financial help. More importantly, we've been working for the past 2 months with our friends at Adventures with Purpose to search for Lloyd and David in the reservoir. The Profiling Evil team has been on site many times as we identified locations to search using the lake's topography, surface roads, and GIS mapping analytics to determine the most likely locations to search. We're going to head out and search in the next couple of days. I want to acknowledge the help provided by a couple of sheriffs, Weber County Sheriff Ryan Arbin, and also the Ogden City Police Chief, who made their staff available as we prepared the work. Most importantly, we want to acknowledge Morgan County Sheriff Blaine Brashears, who connected us with the Utah Parks Ranger Chris Haramoto and the United States Bureau of Reclamation, who authorized us to search inside those federally protected waters. This is Sheriff Brashears' jurisdiction, and if Lloyd and David are recovered, his deputies will take custody of all the evidence. I hope you'll join us in this groundswell and include the Lloyds and the Jaramillos in your thoughts, that somehow together we might help this family get some peace and resolution, something that they've waited for, news that they've waited for on their loved ones for some 4 decades. Now, our next video on the case will be from the search site with family members, searchers, and our amazing supporters. So please take a minute, hit that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you receive all of our notifications. And thanks for supporting us at Profiling Evil. This is one case where we'd really welcome financial support. Bringing searchers, equipment, and personnel together is costly. Thanks for considering helping out. And we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.